the United States, U.S. is reportedly building a military base in the northern Syrian city of Kobani, located near the Turkish border. Reports about the new U.S. military base in Syria emerged after several videos emerged showing concrete barriers being moved on a U.S.-flagged trailer truck. Pentagon Deputy Press Secretary Sabrina Singh, as reported by Al Arabiya and Middle East Monitor, emphasized that there are no plans or intentions to build a U.S. military base in Kobani, Syria. The SDF is an important partner for the U.S. in fighting ISIS. One of the SDF's tasks is to guard the detention camp containing 9,000 ISIS fighters and their 50,000 wives and children. The SDF and HTS are at odds over the consolidation of the new government in Syria. The leader of HTS, Ahmed al-Sharaa, alias Abu Mohammed, al-Golani, emphasized that Syria must be united. In essence, there is no such thing as federalism in Syria, he said when giving a victory speech at the Umayyad Mosque in Damascus. The SDF wants autonomy in northern and eastern Syria. This difference in views led to armed contact in Manbij, northern Syria. The Human Rights Monitoring Agency in Syria, SIR, recorded that 218 SDF and HTS militiamen were killed. Reports about the new U.S. military base in Syria emerged after several videos emerged showing concrete barriers being moved on a U.S.-flagged trailer truck.
As you know, many of our deployments will fluctuate from time to time, but given that this number is significantly higher than what we've been briefing, I wanted to let you know as soon as I found out this information. I will say that there are diplomatic and operational security considerations oftentimes for our deployments, and some of those numbers. It's certainly the case here, but again, given that there is significant interest in Syria, given what we have previously, we want to make sure that you had the most up-to-date information. I will also highlight
a report by the North Press Agency affiliated with the Syrian Democratic Forces, SDF, a U.S. ally in the fight against radical Islamic State, ISIS, militants in Syria said a convoy carrying construction materials and logistical supplies was involved in moving towards Kobani.
Diplomatic and operational security concerns as it relates to the region, but again, given the difference in the number that we've been providing, numbers, the additional numbers, temporary
Thank you, General. Two topics, first Yemen and then Lebanon. On Yemen, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has warned the Houthis today that they will pay a heavy price. Do you have an assessment on maybe the Houthis could be the next Israeli target after Hezbollah in Lebanon and Hamas in Gaza?
What I would say, Rafa, is first of all, I won't speak for Israel in terms of its operations. They certainly have a right to defend themselves, and as you know, the Houthis have launched missiles and drones toward Israel, and so the Houthis should not be surprised if Israel exercises its inherent right of self-defense. But as for any potential future operations, I'd refer you to Israel. To defeat ISIS mission, obviously, we don't want to see fighting between SDF and Turkish-backed forces in Syria. Security and stability are incredibly important, particularly at this fragile time right now in Syria. And so, again, we would encourage all parties to preserve that peace and stability in support of the people of Syria. Okay, let me just go to the front again real quick. Make sure these people are not in the room. Jeff Schogel.
Thank you. Regarding Syria, can you say why CENTCOM felt it needed an extra 1,000 troops, albeit on a temporary basis? And you also mentioned that if Congress doesn't pass its spending bill, U.S. troops and civilians will not get paid over the holidays. And this is not a great time to go without a paycheck, although there's never a good time.
Thank you, General. The US says that Syria shouldn't be fragmented, the new Syria, the new government, the new country, basically after the fall of the Assad regime. And you have a militia group there, the SDF, that you say you're working with to counter ISIS. So to have a unified Syria, do you have any plans at all to commit to disarming the SDF and disbanding them? The new HTS leader al-Golani also said that no armed groups will be allowed and all of them have to be dismantled. Do you have any plans at all? Because that would be a massive obstacle in the way of a unified Syria.
So I think, it's a great question. I would refer you to State Department to talk about the longer term U.S. diplomatic relations.
It's clear that you were surprised by the number of U.S. troops that were in Syria, but was Secretary Austin also surprised?
I'm confident that the Secretary is tracking U.S. forces deployed around the world. Again, as I highlighted, there oftentimes are going to be diplomatic or operational security considerations as it relates to the deployment of forces. About what the incoming administration may or may not do.
South Korean National Intelligence Service says at least 100 North Korean soldiers killed in fighting in Ukraine. Do you have anything on that? What is the U.S. estimating?
Yeah, so we continue to observe and assess. I would say at this stage,